Hello, Gary Champion. Good morning. Uh, this video is about the destruction that's going on in the country, where the economy is sort of, it's not faltering, it's in free fall. To give an example, 40,000 airline attendants were furloughed. It just means they don't have a job. And you think, okay, well, 40,000, that's not very many people. And then you look at the 10 million jobs behind that to run that industry. All those people are out of work. All the magazines, the baggage people, the cleaners, the people who sell food, the airplane company, everything is in free fall. Everything's dominoing. You think, okay, it's 40,000 people. A few years ago, we would have been upset at that, but not in today's climate. 40,000 people, not a big thing. And the death toll is 20,000 so far, I think, somewhere in that area. In 10 years of war in Vietnam, we only lost a little over 10,000 people. 10,000 soldiers, 10,550 or something. I'm not looking these numbers up, but it's very close in 10 years of fighting. So 20,000 people are gone. And it's not just that number. That's not the number to look at. The number to look at is the people who are not going to recover back to full normalcy. They're not going to. Their lungs will be compromised. Their thinking will be compromised. Their overall health will be compromised in a way that it may not harm them at all, but we don't know. 10 years from now, 5 years from now. It correlates directly to the disease, this COVID, that you have it for, I don't know, 3 days, 10 days, whatever. And then there's sort of a grace period there where you just feel better. And then you have 3 to 4 weeks where you can't seem to do anything. So 40,000 airline people lose their jobs. 10 million people are out of work. 20,000 people have died from COVID. And we don't know how many will eventually end up passing from it in one way or another, or their lives will be diminished. These are all facts. I'm not making this up. I'm not sensationalizing anything. I don't do that. And here's what happens. Whenever your life changes dramatically, you can do a couple of things. You can sit down and cry about it. If you're rich, you can go hide in your room for 10 years. I mean, the average person has to get up and go back to work if there is work. They have to grind on. And through the grinding process of reestablishing your life as meaningful, it's like a reclamation. And that's what we're going to see. You know, a simple clay pot, they're pretty fragile. They're inexpensive as well, but you put a plant in it, it'll grow for years and decades, and the pot's still good. But when it breaks, it's not the pot it was before. You essentially have a broken pot. But if this pot is essential, comparing it to human life, then there's a lot of things we can do. We can paint it. We can glue it back together. We can put Mod Podge on it. We can put epoxy on it. We can embed diamonds in it. We can put glitter on it. We reclaim that pot. We reclaim that life. That's what we're going to see a lot of. People will, if they're capable, most people are going to dig down deep and pull out that spiritual thing that can't be defined. That who you are as an individual spirit is different than anybody else. And how you deal with this crisis is real important. Giving up and going sitting in your room if you're rich, okay. We're not going to worry about those people. A broken person's a little harder to cobble together. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Well, that's not true. It's just a nursery rhyme. It's an interesting thing about an egg. But you can pick up those egg fragments. You can glue him back together. You can dip him in color. You can put sequins on him. He's not going to be the egg he once was. He's going to be different. And that's all I'm saying, is that the future is yours to reclaim your life and move on with it. I mean, many people who've had many diseases have proven that it can be done, that they just, the will of the Spirit is always there. I've seen people walk around as though they weren't human anymore. Zombies. No, there's no such thing as zombies. But zombie-like. And over a period of time, they cobble their lives together. They move on to a new residence. And by the way, most of the country, it's a huge number is going to be renters, people who can afford a house with a down and a payment. They just aren't going to exist in some areas of the country. It's already that way in some areas. I'm not going to name the states, but you can look at a map and figure it out. We can survive this. We will survive this. How many of us do? We don't know. A huge number. Certainly way, way, way many that are going to pass from it or suffer from it. Most people will survive it. A lot of people won't even have it. The shot will come out before they ever get exposed to it and they'll be safe. Or they genetically are just superior and tougher and they'll survive it. Going way back to the beginning of time, you inherited the genetic makeup of those people who survived till now. They survived till now because they swung a club. You know, they stood up on their feet and yeah, that's Peanut, in case you haven't guessed. He's always in everything. Anyway, I'm saying that this downturn is not a negative thing. It's a chance for us to see who we really are, to establish, put a flag in the ground and say, this is my little patch here. This is my area. And don't mess with me. So no matter what this disease throws at us, no matter what happens in the world, most people will reclaim their lives just like a pot. They'll glue it together. They'll patch it together. They'll think about it. That doesn't go there anymore. Okay, you're going to have to do something else. You're going to have to shave it and cut it and epoxy it and fit it in there. All these pieces have to fit back in your life in some way. Maybe not to the same degree. Maybe you were married and you don't do that again. Maybe you owned a home, you don't do that again. Maybe you owned a motorcycle, you lost that. Things are going to be different. And if you look at it the correct way, they're going to be exciting. Because when life and death are going on, we're on the edge. We're balancing that fine line. And it's terrible and exhilarating at the same time. That's why people ski down hills at 100 miles an hour, because they want to feel the adrenaline rush of succeeding at something very few people do. They want to jump out of airplanes. They want to go to the bottom of the ocean. They want to go to the moon. These are extreme goals that many people accomplish because they want to prove a point. I'm here, and this is who I am. So all the people who are broken and torn and their lives are changed, we'll cobble it back together. We have agencies. I mean, we have psychologists, psychiatrists, we have friends and family, we have neighbors, we have things that'll help us get it back together. So from Peanut and I, with a handsome dog, no fear, no regret, no anger. Thanks for watching.